You know what, Bocce Bros? You can look at Vinland Saga Bros and Chainsaw Man Bros, and you can wholeheartedly say that you won more awards than they did. So guys, if you didn't know, we have just finished watching the Crunchyroll Anime Awards 2024, and we have a lot of winners and a lot of nominees to go through. This year was a pretty interesting year in my opinion, because normally we've seen a few titles just completely dominate this year or every year of the Anime Awards, and I feel like this year was definitely the year of Jujutsu Kaisen. Previous years have been, you know, Demon Slayer years and, you know, previously My Hero Academia years, but this year was definitely the year of Jujutsu Kaisen, and that doesn't really surprise me a lot. Some of the awards, you know, I definitely did vote for Jujutsu Kaisen, and some of the awards I would have preferred other winners. So we're just going to go through all of the winners right now. Starting things off with, of course, best voice acting performance. I had no doubt that Yuichi Nakamura is going to win this for his performance as Gojo. Here's the thing right now. It felt like for a lot of these awards, there were a few shows that very much dominated who was going to win. It felt like Jujutsu Kaisen won a lot, but if it wasn't Jujutsu Kaisen that won it, it would have been either another massive mega hit like One Piece, like Demon Slayer. And for this one, who did I vote for, chat? Who did I vote for? I think I voted Bocce. So with this one, Gojo didn't surprise me at all. I am really curious, and I don't know if they've ever released the ratios. I would be very interested if Crunchyroll have released the public ratios of how much the public vote matters. Because sometimes I'm like, okay, Jujutsu Kaisen won, and I'm not too surprised that Jujutsu Kaisen won, but sometimes I'm like, well, there are a lot of other really top contenders in this category, and every single time, Jujutsu Kaisen always came up on top. If it was a lot of ratios towards the judge more than the public votes, then that's all of our mistakes. But right now, it does seem at least heavily favored, because all of the public votes are obviously going to be heavily favored towards the most popular shows. Gojo as the best winner for best VA performance. All right, I can understand. I'll take that. This one, I don't think had too many obvious choices, so I can understand why this one won. But next, we have Best Romance. Now, I don't know about anyone else that was watching the awards, but I really enjoyed it when there was a category with like Best Romance, like Best Slice of Life, where we got to see a lot of other nominations that didn't normally get nominated in most of the other categories, because most of the categories were very much dominated by a lot of similar shows. But when we have something like Best Romance, it was just nice just to see other shows last year get some recognition. And my vote went for Insomniacs After School. Insomniacs After School, of course, was the romance that I think the main duo had some of the best chemistry I've seen in any romance, like pure romance anime. I was surprised. I thought My Love Story with Yamada-kun was going to take this one. I did not know that this many people still watch the new Horimiya. I can't remember, but Horimiya was definitely my top pick for one of the best romances when the original series aired. But with these side stories, I felt like a lot less people talked about it. I thought that not as many people watched the new Horimiya as watched the new Yamada-kun. And one thing that really surprised me originally was, I think the most popular, the most talked about romances last year from my own subjective perspective was either Yamada-kun or The Dangers in My Heart, which unfortunately didn't get nominated last year. Skip and Loafer, I love as a show. I am surprised it got nominated for Best Romance, just because there might be some romance in it. There might have been some romance in it, but it definitely was not the main selling point. None of the romances really developed in this one. I'm not unhappy that Horimiya won. In fact, I am not one to judge because I didn't watch this one, so maybe this one was even better than the original Horimiya. I've only seen the original Horimiya. I am just surprised because I did not think this many people still watched the Horimiya side stories. But moving on to Best Fantasy. That's the knee slapper right there, man. That's the knee slapper right there. Once again, Demon Slayer has come out on top to win Best Fantasy. And last year, I was very, very salty that Demon Slayer won Best Fantasy. This year, I was less salty. Number one, because I feel like the fantasy nominations for this year were less strong than they were for last year. And number two, I think last year, I could only get burned so much from last year. So this year, I still voted for Mushoku Tensei. You know, I haven't seen Magus Bride Season 2, but I've heard that's very good. My big problem with Demon Slayer winning Best Fantasy isn't the fact that it's Demon Slayer. You know, when I judge a category, I try to judge, like with Skip and Loafer for Best Romance, for example. You know, I can like a show and then I can think that it's not the best show for that specific category. And to me, Demon Slayer in the representation for Best Fantasy is just not in the same leagues as some of these other shows in terms of just pure fantasy. Does it have fantasy elements? Yes, of course, it does have fantasy elements. But to say that it's, you know, you can say it's got better action than a lot of these shows. You can say that it has other aspects that are better than these other shows. But in terms of what fantasy means and what kind of a genre fantasy is, I just don't think it is the strongest representation compared to most of these other nominations. If Demon Slayer is still here next year and it beats a show like Frieren, like Delicious in Dungeon, which is doing so much for the fantasy genre in anime and slime as well, that's when I will actually be salty, because I think right now we are going through a golden age of anime fantasy, especially this year. And I'm like, if Demon Slayer is the face of that, I think something's gone wrong. Best drama goes to Attack on Titan, which probably would have been my second vote behind Vinland Saga Season 2. I wanted Vinland Saga Season 2 to win the big award. I think that it is a massive shame that, to me, one of the greatest stories in anime and one of the best character development we have ever seen didn't get awarded this year. Vinland Saga Season 2 did not get a single award this year. And I think that's a massive shame. Attack on Titan winning Best Drama, I can see it. In terms of drama, in terms of pure drama, I can even see a world where I would vote Attack on Titan above Vinland Saga, because Vinland Saga, in terms of how many moving parts there are for its drama, Attack on Titan has Vinland Saga beat. You know, I think Vinland Saga emotionally sends a message that is something that we all need to hear and has a story that can really affect you even outside of your world of anime. You know, I have no enemies is such a powerful philosophy that I think that has the possibility to just affect the way you think outside of anime. But in terms of pure entertainment, yeah, I think Attack on Titan is the best drama on here right now. I think seeing the legacy of Attack on Titan coming to an end this year was very, very sweet. And I think it's going to be a long time till we see some show like Attack on Titan. Best comedy. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I wanted Bocchi to win this one. This one was a hard one. I can understand Spy Family winning this one, but Bocchi was the one that made me laugh the most out of any one of these shows. I feel like, to me, Spy X Family, to me, is just a feel-good show. I don't think I've ever laughed at Spy X Family, but to me, I always come out of Spy X Family feeling good. Bocchi made me laugh, but the thing is, I don't even think Bocchi tried to make me laugh. Bocchi was like this slice of life show that really tried to showcase the social awkwardness. It made me laugh without exactly just being a comedy anime. I don't know. Mashle, Magic and Muscle, most of these other shows, pretty much every one of these shows, except for Bocchi, right? They are comedy anime, but I view them the same way as I view every other comedy anime, which is the most it can get out of me is like a smile or a chuckle. My favorite parts of Mashle were a lot of the action scenes and just seeing the weird way that Mashle would take down his opponents and everything like that. As a comedy, Mashle didn't hit me too hard. But it's entertaining. It's a very, very entertaining show. I am not surprised that Spy Family won this one either, because it is technically a comedy anime and it is the most well-known comedy anime on this list, because it's Shonen Jump. I wanted Bocchi to win, but I was not surprised that Spy Family won this one. Which next we have Best Action. And here is one that definitely deserves the award. This is, I genuinely voted Jujutsu Kaisen for this award, Season 2. And even though I think most of the voters forgot that this does not include the Shibuya arc, I think the action in Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, it started on a different stratosphere and it ended on a different stratosphere. Chainsaw Man had good action, but it definitely was not on the same level as Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. Every single fight in Jujutsu Kaisen, whether it was Shibuya arc or before the Shibuya arc, just went so fucking hard. You know, especially some of the fights, seeing Gojo getting taken down, that was really, really shocking and had really, really cool choreography as well. Just such a cool concept. I ain't even a Bleach fan, but I think this was the only one that really had a chance to take down Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 for best action. My biggest problem with One Piece, with the anime, is just purely the pacing. I can never watch the One Piece anime. I will watch singular episodes of the One Piece anime. Jujutsu Kaisen deserved for best action. I will allow it. Bleach fans, I do sympathize with you though. Moving on to must protect at all costs characters, we have Anya again. Not surprising. I think she has won basically every year so far. She is the Gojo of the must protect at all costs character, man. And as my good friend Didus says, she's a fucking minion, bro. Out of everything, I wanted Miri to win this the most, even though I knew out of everything, I think she had the least chance of winning. Miri has such a good representation of what a real kid would look and act and sound like. And, you know, even though kids can be shits in real life, you still want to fucking protect them. Miri is an Anya ripoff? No. Miri is Anya without the anime filters, okay? Miri, she is the true representation of what a real kid would act like. Anya, not surprised that Anya won. Best supporting character, okay. The other great tragedy this year in the Anime Awards is not only Vinland Saga, but Mob Psycho Season 3 did not win a single award this year. And I thought the one where it had the most chance of winning was possibly Reagan. And the awful thing is, I don't even think Reagan came second. Probably Zoe came second because of the amazing moment she got this year during her moment in the Attack on Titan final season. It was kind of sombering, right? Because everyone knew Gojo was going to win this one. Everyone knew that for any award that Gojo was going to be nominated for, he was probably going to win. And this is where I would be interested to see how many judges also still voted for Gojo. I do think genuinely Gojo is an interesting concept for a character, but in terms of the character arc that he's gone through, I just can't see it comparing to someone like Reagan or even Zoe. I'm surprised that Jujutsu Kaisen got 2 nominations for this award. Mob Psycho 100 in general is a modern classic, and I'm very sad that it did not win any awards. Moving on to best main character, which this is absolutely stacked. I am a huge One Piece fan. One Piece is one of my favorite manga of all time. I didn't think Luffy deserved to win this year. I thought, if not Thorfinn, it's gotta be Mob. Luffy is a great main character and he got his Gear 5 moment in this one, you know, his massive moments in Wano arc, but the message and the character arcs that both Mob and Thorfinn have gone through and went through in their entire show, they give you a message that just transcends anime, you know. Thorfinn really bringing out the message that you have no enemies, you choose your enemies. If someone like him can go through a redemption arc, then any one of you can go through a redemption arc. And on the other corner, you have Mob, which is no matter how powerful you are, you should not take that for granted. You should never stop working and grinding and trying to be the best person you can be, even if you are powerful. And I think those are 2 such strong messages to convey to an audience that just hit so hard. I'm so genuinely sad that neither of them from neither shows won any awards, man. Denji is still cooking, and Bocchi is just a gremlin, but she's our gremlin. Moving on to best director, which is the director of Jujutsu Kaisen. deserved, I think. To me, the 3 shows that stood out to me for this one was Jujutsu Kaisen, Bocchi the Rock, and Chainsaw Man. And my vote went to Chainsaw Man, but in terms of the directing work of these 3 shows stood out to me. I would not have been upset if any of these ones won. I know in terms of an award show, we want more representation for shows that don't normally get representations, in terms of like Bocchi. In terms of how good they were in their categories, I think it's hard to really make one solid case that this show head and shoulders deserved it above this other shows, because Jujutsu Kaisen did an amazing job with its directorial style, especially from season 1. You felt a huge difference in just the feeling of the direction in Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 coming off of Season 1. And I feel like, in terms of like directing, I feel like the first half was a stronger case and had better directorial showcases than the Shibuya arc. The Shibuya arc was like all action, right? It was great in terms of their action, but in terms of just a unique direction and just the unique way that story was presented, I really liked the first half of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1. If there was one person I wanted to win, it was probably the director of Chainsaw Man, just because of how much shade he's been given by the Japanese fan base, or just the fan base in general, man. Oh man, can you imagine if he won it? Still very cute acceptance speech. We'll take that one. We'll take that. Moving on to best anime song. Real okay, this is one thing that Bocchi fans are being like, no, Bocchi robbed. But I'm like, come on guys, if we're gonna put in a fighter to beat the popularity of Jujutsu Kaisen, might as well be the only Japanese song that has topped the Billboard Top 100, guys. Might as well be Idol. I think it's deserved even more than the Bocchi song, man. This song is an absolute banger. I feel like the only reason people don't like it is because how popular it is. I had an argument with Joey, thinks this song is overrated, and I think that it's not overrated, it is just overplayed, especially if you're here in Japan. It is everywhere. You cannot escape it. Do you remember when Attack on Titan Season 1 aired and the opening for Attack on Titan was just everywhere and you could not escape it? That was such a good fucking opening, man. And to me, yeah, that was my top anime song of the year, man. Suzume, best film. Can't really comment on this because that was the only film I actually watched. I am part of the problem. I am part of the problem. To be fair, I didn't vote on this one, I don't think, because I hadn't seen enough. But I know that Slam Dunk probably came in second. My favorite moment of this is actually Shinkai came up to accept his award and he was like, yo, that performance, that was lit, right, guys? Anyone else hyped for the Yuasumi concert? Oh, I guess this award is nice as well. This award is nice. Best score, Attack on Titan. Yeah, I wanted Chainsaw Man to this one because I'm just a huge fan of the Chainsaw Man composer, but I think Attack on Titan was always going to win this one. I think number 1, Attack on Titan is popular already, and number 2, Hiroyuki Sawano, even though this was co-composed, Hiroyuki Sawano is just too big of a name brand to really lose this one. I do feel like there wasn't a single nomination that was miles above, so I'm not upset that Attack on Titan won this one. I'm not surprised that Attack on Titan won this one, and I wouldn't have been upset if any one of these anime won best score this year. Best ending sequence, once again, was Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen won both best ending sequence. This one didn't surprise me so much because I think, especially when it comes to endings and openings, even more than other categories, even more than other categories and other awards, best ending sequence and best opening is very skewed towards, subjective song enjoyment. I do think that this one would have been even more skewed towards popularity than other awards. That wasn't the biggest surprise. The biggest surprise was that it also won best opening sequence, and the fact that Idol won best anime song but not best opening sequence was a massive fucking surprise, because not only did the song top and make headlines and do all of this stuff, I genuinely believe that in terms of an opening sequence, it is better than Jujutsu Kaisen's opening. I think the top 3 for this one was Idol, Kickback, and Innocent Arrogance. They are all very close in terms of a powerful opening. I thought if anything had a chance of winning over the popularity contest, it was the song that made absolute headlines, because Idol wasn't just a good song, it was a great opening sequence as well. Kickback to me was such a unique opening, especially for a shonen anime opening. You compare Kickback to Jujutsu Kaisen's opening, especially its first opening, and Jujutsu Kaisen's first opening basically hits the checklist for everything you'd expect for a shonen anime opening formula. And I don't even think the song is as iconic as its first opening. Idol was still far and beyond my favorite opening, so I'm very, very surprised that it did not win. Best continuing series might as well just be called the One Piece Award. Let's be honest, One Piece has won this every year since the inception of the Anime Awards, I think, and it is going to continue to win the best continuing series for as long as it is still ongoing. So let's get ready for the next 25 years, guys. My problem with best continuing series as an award is I don't know what this means. I don't know what the specifics of what that means. Is it the best show that was continuing? Is it the best long-running series? Is it the series that is continuing and did the most interesting things? I'm not sure what's the specifications of what deserves best continuing series. I think a lot of people think this, which is why it's going to get the One Piece category, because One Piece is consistently a series that is always continuing and always is going to be good. So are we rewarding long-term consistent continuing, or are we rewarding the best series that is a season 2 in that specific year? Because if so, I think the reason that One Piece just has such a massive advantage is because all these are season 2s, and this is a series that has been continuing for 20 fucking years, you know? All right, moving on. Bocce Bros won. Bocce Bros got some representation. You know what, Bocce Bros? You can look at Vinland Saga Bros and Chainsaw Man Bros, and you can wholeheartedly say that you won more awards than they did. I am unhappy with this. This was an exciting award, mostly because all of these nominations were barely nominated for any of the other awards, and it was just good to see more representations for different types of shows. I personally wanted Skip and Loafer to win, but I am very, very happy that Bocce got some representation. Best art direction. So with best art direction, everyone's chat was like, yo, Demon Slayer, L, what the fuck? No. Demon Slayer is good art, man. Demon Slayer's always had really, really good art direction, man. I think the thing that stands out about Ufotable is Demon Slayer just has this really, really unique aesthetic. It's the thing that made Demon Slayer stand out from season 1, and it is the thing that makes Demon Slayer stand out today. Did I think it deserved to win the award? My vote went to Zom 100. I'm less upset about Demon Slayer winning than I would have been about some other shows winning. I think out of everything, I am more satisfied with Demon Slayer winning best art direction than I am Demon Slayer winning best fantasy. I think Zom 100 was just far and beyond the winner in this category. I knew it had no chance of winning at all. If it wasn't going to be Zom 100, then Oshinoko was not as popular as these three. It was basically just going to be between Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Chainsaw Man. And in terms of art direction, I do think that Demon Slayer has the most unique looking art out of the three. Best cinematography. Again, I really wanted Chainsaw Man to win this one because the cinematography was insane and I loved it, but Jujutsu Kaisen was a close second in my heart. Heavenly Delusion had great cinematography as well. That was like third, and these three, I mean, Vinland Saga was fantastic, but in terms of cinematography, I don't think it's on the same tier as the other shows. I think the direction and the cinematography for both Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen was just top tier. This is one of the ones where I'm like, I'll allow it. Heavenly Delusion is easily better than both. I think Heavenly Delusion is a stronger contender for Best Director than it is for Best Cinematography. The directing in Heavenly Delusion was really, really fucking good. But in terms of cinematography, like Chainsaw Man was so fucking good. Which is why I'm glad that Chainsaw Man did at least get some representation and won Best New Series. Did I think it deserved to win Best New Series out of these ones? Maybe Bocce. I would have ranked Bocchi higher. I'm not unhappy with Chainsaw Man winning this one. I think in my best of the year, Bocchi and Chainsaw Man were like very, very close to each other. Heavenly Delusion and Oshinoko were also in my top anime of the year this year. These are all great shows. And Chainsaw Man just happened to be the most popular one. No Eminence and Shadow? Yeah, I know, right? Isekai got no representation this year, man. We got Mushoku Tensei. That was it. Demon Slayer winning best animation, though. This was a surprise. This one, I don't think it should have won, because I think this year, if it was Demon Slayer Season 2, I'd be like, all right, pack it in, boys. It's a one and done. I don't think this year Demon Slayer got its chance to really shine as much as it did in Season 2. There wasn't a single scene in Demon Slayer this year that really blew me away in terms of the visuals, you know? Normally there's one holy moment in Demon Slayer where I'm like, oh my fucking gods, I might have issues with the story and the characters, yada yada yada, but all of those criticisms get pushed to the back of my head because this animation went so hard. I didn't have that moment this year. I'll tell you what did. Jujutsu Kaisen did. Mob Psycho did. Hell, even fucking Attack on Titan and Chainsaw Man. Some of the scenes in Attack on Titan went so fucking hard, and it really is some of the best looking Attack on Titan has been. They continue to level up and level up and level up, and I think Final Chapters was the best looking that Attack on Titan has been. Mob Psycho, of course, went hard as well in its one scene. That one episode dropped my jaw to the floor. It didn't go as hard as Mob Psycho Season 2, but that just shows how high of a bar Season 2 set for Mob Psycho Season 3. Mob Psycho Season 3 for me was more of an emotional season. I think Chainsaw Man in general is just a very, very cool, interesting show with interesting characters. I don't even think action was my favorite part of the show. The scene that stood out to me the most in Chainsaw Man was like, it was a horror scene. It was the hand sanitizer scene. Just fucking And Trigun, Studio Orange continued to push the boundary. It's sad because, unfortunately, I don't ever see a world where the anime community collectively comes together and rewards 3D animation. Maybe one day, Studio Orange can break all of the boundaries. It shouldn't have been Demon Slayer. It actually should have been Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, man. Best character design, yeah. Jujutsu Kaisen, once again, I disagree with this one, even in the space of shonens. Character design is also quite hard to judge because, to me, character designs, a lot of people just vote for what they think looks cool. And a lot of people think Gojo looks cool. But to me, what makes a good character design is something that you can immediately recognize. It's hard for me, right? Because it's not exactly about how much detail they have. It's sometimes about simplicity, but it's about how easy it is to recognize the character, which is one category, and how unique the character designs are. And to me, the Jujutsu Kaisen character designs don't stand out as much as even the Demon Slayer character designs or the Chainsaw Man character designs. I personally voted for the Trigun character designs because I think a lot of the character designs, one, they look super, super unique. And number two, you can give me a silhouette of Vash and I'd instantly be able to recognize them like that. I think Studio Orange did an amazing job in terms of taking Vash's iconic design and making it work in 3D and for the modern age as well. If it wasn't Trigun, I probably would have given it to Chainsaw Man or Oshinoko. All right, moving on. Wow. Best original anime, Buddy Daddies. This was a massive, massive, massive surprise. Actually insane. I thought Gundam had this one, but this was another very, very interesting category that I'm very, very happy that this category exists because basically this is one where we got to see more representations for more shows. Best original anime is such a good category because you get to see all of the original animes that don't have any pre-existing fan base, and it's just an all-around fun category. And I didn't expect Buddy Daddies to win, but I have no issues at all. I had no issues with a lot of these winning because I enjoyed a lot of these shows. The only one that I really am unfamiliar with is The Marginal Service. I don't know a single person that talks about Marginal Service, but in terms of every other one of these shows, I've had a conversation with at least 1 or 2 people that have talked about them and mentioned them and recommended them. I have also recommended a lot of these shows as well. So, yeah. I really enjoyed this one, which comes to Anime of the Year, which of course was Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. And I had hope, guys. I really had hope that it was going to be Vinland Saga Season 2. It was at that point of the night where I was a few beers deep. I was like, maybe it has a chance, maybe. But unfortunately, my prayers weren't answered this year. Last year was a shocker where we got Cyberpunk Edge Runners winning Anime of the Year, which was a genuine shock. But this year, we did not get that same. I do genuinely think that Vinland Saga Season 2 was the best show last year. This felt like really hard-hitting shows that really media that gives you like a powerful message and a good lesson that just did not get any representation this year. And this was very stacked, as it always is, towards the mega popular hits, the mega popular shows. Final thoughts on the Anime Awards this year. A lot of this is going to be repeating my feedback from a lot of Anime Awards. And for transparency, I was actually sponsored by Crunchyroll this year to do a live watch and a live reaction to the awards show. That has not changed my feedback and my reaction to any of the winners. I feel like I would like to know how much of the percentage the public vote gets, because I don't know how true this is, but without knowing, it feels like a lot. It feels like you guys got 34 million votes this year, and it feels like the popular shows really did get a lot of the awards this year. It feels like the only chance a show had of winning an award is if another popular show beats that popular show. And I really feel like, yes, some of these shows are popular and deserve the awards, but some of these were a bit confusing, like Demon Slayer winning Best Fantasy once again, for example. Gojo winning Best Supporting Character because it's Gojo. Instead of harping on, hey, the popular winners are always going to win the respective categories, I would like to make a suggestion. I would love if there were more categories, because I don't think we're ever going to get a system that has public votes as a part of the system, and we can get like a fair, like a more varied representation of every different show. I would like it if we had more categories like Best Original Anime or Best Slice of Life. Anime has so many different genres that are represented by so many different shows. I would love to see more niche genres, more niche awards for more niche shows. It was exciting seeing nominations for categories like Best Original Anime, Best Romance, Best Slice of Life, because these were categories where every show weren't represented in every other nomination. I think having other categories, Best Mecha, for example, Best Isekai, you know. I know I'm the one fucking person that wants to reward Isekai, but maybe, guys, maybe. You can tailor it towards things that reward more niche shows, and I would like to see that. Especially when anime is such a wide, varied medium, and the amount of great shows that aired last year were absolutely insane. And I think it always is very skewed towards 3-4 shows. And I think as anime has gotten more popular, it is only going to get more skewed, because holy crap, has mainstream shonen anime reached a different stratosphere this year. I think Jujutsu Kaisen has reached a different stratosphere in terms of popularity. When you got people like Usher cosplaying as Gojo and spoiling Jujutsu Kaisen for the masses, you fucking know it's out of control. Aside from that, I genuinely think the Anime Awards as a show continues to level up. I know that Crunchyroll has had a big injection of funds and money since being taken over by basically Sony. They got that Sony money now. And it was cool to see a lot of the performances here this year. My favorite acts, aside from Yaasobi, was definitely the ones where we kind of went through the history of anime, and it was an orchestral rendition of Space Battleship Yamato, Dragon Ball, Gundam, One Piece, and Full Metal Alchemist. And I haven't even seen Full Metal Alchemist. That got me emotional, man. That got me emotional. So as an award ceremony, it was a glorious awards. We got to see a lot of celebrities, and we got to see a lot of different people in the anime sphere, in the actual anime industry right here in this awards. It would have been cool if more teams got rewarded, because when you are involving the actual producers, the actual animators, the actual directors of each of these shows, this brings it to another tier for like a fan level show. As much as there are other awards out there, Crunchyroll, you have to say that the prestige that Crunchyroll now has is just on a different tier for any other anime award show is like even close to touching right now. So it would be cool if there was a system in place to actually reward a lot of these different creators that are coming to your reward show. And that's it. That's my opinion on this year's anime awards. We should have a hentai and doujin too. Yo, that's a different type of award, man. All right, but that was my rundown of the Crunchyroll Anime Awards 2024. Did you enjoy the show? Did you even watch the show? Because I know it was not in a good time zone for all you Americans out there. So if you didn't watch it, you can watch my VOD. I've been Giguk, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.